You now know where work lives before a sprint. You know what your teams commit to during the sprint, and you know what done looks like. It's great. Great achievement so far. But there is one thing we have not covered yet. The work items themselves. The actual entries that sit on your backlog and your board. What do they look like and how you write one? In Scrum, the most common way to describe a piece of work is called a user story. And I need to be honest with you, this is where most non-technical professionals hit a wall. Because every example you have probably seen looks like this. As a user, I want to reset my password so that I can regain access to my account. Why is this problem? This is a software user story. And if your job is in marketing, HR, operations, healthcare, or government, it tells you nothing about how to write one for your work. So let me fix that right now. A user story has 3 parts. Who is this for? What do they need? And why does it matter? And the formula is very simple. As a who, I want what, so that why. This is the entire structure. 3 blanks, 1 sentence, and it works for any department because it's not about the tool you are using, it's about the person you are serving. Remember that. Let me say that again because it's very important. A user story is not a task description. It is not a to-do item. It's a statement about a real person who needs something from your work. The moment you start writing user stories from the perspective of the person you are helping, the quality of your work changes. Because now you are not just completing a task, you are solving someone's problem. So let me walk you through 5 real examples from 5 different departments so you get a picture. Right? Let's start with the marketing. Let's say that your team is launching a product campaign. In that case, the user story looks like this. As a potential customer visiting our website for the first time, I want to understand what this product does immediately so that I can decide whether to learn more. That story tells the team exactly who they are writing for, what that person needs, and what success looks like. It's not right landing page copy. It's a clear statement of intent that shapes the copy, the layout, and the call to action. Let's move to HR. Your team is improving the onboarding experience. So the user story might look like this. As a new employee starting on Monday, I want to receive my laptop, credentials, and schedule before my first day so that I feel prepared instead of lost. That story forces the team to think about the experience from the new hire's perspective. It's not set up onboarding process. It defines what the new hire actually needs and when. Next, operations. Your team is fixing vendor onboarding. The user story might look like this. As a new vendor submitting compliance documents, I want a single checklist that shows every required item so that I don't have to email 3 different people to find out what is missing. That story captures the vendor's frustration and turns it into a clear deliverable. The checklist is not an internal task, it's a solution for someone who is stuck. Next is healthcare. Let's say your team is improving patient intake. The user story looks like this. As a patient arriving for my first appointment, I want to complete my intake forms online before I arrive so that I spend my waiting time preparing for my visit instead of filling out paperwork. Let's move to the government. Your team processes permit application. The user story is a small business owner applying for a building permit. I want to see which documents are required before I start the application, so that I don't submit incomplete paperwork and wait 3 weeks for a rejection. So those were examples from 5 departments and completely different contexts, using the same user story formula. Every single one starts with a real person and ends with the reason their need matters. The formula is simple, but teams still make one common mistake. They write user stories that are actually just tasks wearing a costume. Like, as HR, I want to update the handbook. That's not a user story. That is not a real person being served. There is no clear outcome, and there is no way to know when it is done. So compare it to, as a team lead checking the policy or remote work, I want the handbook to reflect the current guidelines approved this quarter so that I can answer my team's questions without guessing. The second version tells you who needs it, what they need, and why it matters. The first version just say, do the thing. So here is a test you can use every time. I want you to read user story out loud and ask, can I picture the person this is for? If the answer is no, rewrite it until you can. A user story without a real person is just a task without extra words. And here is a tip you can use in the next sprint planning meeting when teams is writing user stories. Who is the person this is for, and what changes for them when we finish it? That question transforms a wish into user story. Use it once and watch how the conversation shifts. Writing a good story is only half the job. It also has to be small enough to finish the sprint. Every user story I just showed you could be completed in the single sprint. And that matters. If a user story takes 3 sprints to complete, it's too big. Break it down. A story should be small enough that the team can finish it, show it in the sprint review, and get feedback. If you cannot demo it at the end of the sprint, it's not a story, it's an epic. And epic belongs on the backlog as a multiple stories. Here is a small assignment. Pick one task you are currently working on. Write a user story for it using the formula. As a who, I want what, so that why. Say it out loud. If you cannot picture the person, rewrite it. If it would take more than 1 sprint to finish, break it smaller. Then share your work in our Facebook group. I want to look at it. And also below this video, download the user story template pack. It has fill-in-the-blank templates with over 10 non-technical examples across marketing, HR, operations, healthcare, and government. Bring it to your next sprint planning. It will make writing stories feel natural instead of forced. Okay? Great. Now you know how to write the items that go on your board. Next, you will learn how to set up the board, the visual tool that makes your sprint visible to the entire team. 10 minutes is all it takes. I'll see you in the next lecture.